Hello and welcome to the home of the Ghost Owl, and we're coming to the end now of our series of Total Warhammer 3 faction focus, looking at the possible lords and heroes that we could see in the game in the future. We're going through in alphabetical order. We're currently on Warriors of Chaos with only the Wood Elves still to go. And as we've gone through, we've seen that Chaos is a bit of a mishmash right now in terms of inconsistency and about how Norsca, Warriors of Chaos, and then Demons has been put together in terms of those that are undivided and those that are dedicated to a god. Where Norsca seems to be undivided, Warriors of Chaos is both, and Demons have been split into individual factions based upon the god. So now in Warriors of Chaos, as with the other factions, we're trying to focus on those that were either super famous or that have had models and had rules and that were in the army books. There's decades of lore. There's hundreds of books. There's tons of characters that you could add to these lists that we haven't. We've tried to narrow it down. Otherwise, you could be here for hours just focusing on a single faction. When we come to the Warriors of Chaos, do I think there needs to be anyone else added to the Warriors of Chaos? In reality, while there's characters that I love, I'm not sure that Warriors of Chaos needs any more than the 7 they've already got. They've recently had a DLC. They've literally only just got their legendary hero. Do they need any more? I don't think so, but there are still a bunch of characters now I'd love to see in the game somehow. So, without further ado, let's delve into who we've got. So currently, Archaon, Kolek, Sigvald, Valkyr, Village were all in the 8th edition book. Festus was there, but he was in as a hero, which is interesting. And then you've got Azazel, who is actually a demon prince of Slaanesh. Okay. So this is where it starts to get a bit kind of odd about who's in and who's out of which faction. But in terms of possible lords, a favourite of mine, going way back in the day, I've been playing Warhammer Fantasy since '92, is Arbald Undefeated. He's a champion of Khorne. He rides a giant hound of Khorne, typical sort of Khorne champion, with all the iconography, a giant axe, and so on. Arbald Undefeated. I mean, his nickname was Destroyer of Khorne. I'd love to see Arbal in the game. Maybe he fits in the Khorne faction if they're going to add mortals. Maybe that's where he goes. But Arbal the Undefeated, definitely could see him being added to the game. Now, because of the way I've done this list, he is a mortal, so I put him under the Warriors of Chaos. But he absolutely could be in the Khorne faction if they start to add mortals to them. Now, if we continue on the vein of adding mortals, whether they're in Warriors of Chaos or in Tzeentch, for example, how can you miss Acold Hellbrass? He had a model, he had rules. He's very iconic of a Tzeentch Warriors of Chaos champion. I think he adds a nice flavour in how he would play, and even as he moves, the life is supposed to, things are supposed to change as he walks over. He's got the breath of life on the ground and all that sort of thing. So, I think Acold Hellbrass would be a really cool character to add. He's an absolute classic in the game. Again, does he fit in Warriors of Chaos or does he fit in Monogod Tzeentch? I don't know. We'll have to see where Creative Assembly takes it. You got Galrath. Now, Galrath's an interesting one because he's essentially an ancient chaos dragon. He has a model. He's got 2 heads. He was mutated through the power of Tzeentch. That's why he has the 2 heads. So he's an interesting one. Is Galrath a lord? Is he a regiment of renown, maybe? Maybe he's... I don't see him so much as a legendary hero. But yeah, I think he could be an interesting one. Maybe he's better as a legendary... as a regiment of renown. You bring him in as a regiment of renown, as a chaos dragon. But he's definitely there as well. With that, can't not talk about Egrim van Horseman. He's a champion of Tzeentch. He rides a twin-headed dragon. Had a model, very, very big character. I'd love to see him in the game as well. Again, does he fit in with the Tzeentch faction or does he fit in with Warriors of Chaos? yeah, and he's a chaos sorcerer as well. So he adds again something different. He's not just your typical you know uh, you, chaos warrior riding some big dragon or something. So he's Tzeentch, would you expect? But he is a chaos sorcerer. So I think he would be an interesting one. You've got Sail the Faithless as well. He's an arch sorcerer coming from the Dolgan tribe. Dolgan are in the game. Again, who does he fit with? Yeah, an interesting one. He's an arch sorcerer. He's definitely of that ilk. Maybe he fits better in Norska as an arch sorcerer in Norska. Who knows? Again, it really depends. That's why it makes it so difficult with Chaos as to where people go. But Sail the Faithless is on there as well. You got Scar Bloodwrath. Yeah, I mean, he very much sort of more came in the end times part, but Scar Bloodwrath, champion of Khorne. Does he go in the Khorne monogod, or does he stay here? You've also got Gutrot Spume from the Nurgle side. He's obviously got a model as well as Scar Bloodwrath, and had rules. Again, I really don't think they need to be added into Warriors of Chaos. But they are mortals, and right now, as it stands, it's demonic entities in the monogods. It's undivided in Norska, so they would fit in Warriors of Chaos. But either they need to unite the demon factions under one faction, or they need to start putting mortals into those demon factions, like Scarred Bloodwrath, Gutrot Spume, and so on. In terms of legendary heroes, we've already got Harry the Hammer, but the one that I've always loved is Vardek Crom, or Crom the Conqueror. He had such a cool looking model. So it'd be cool to see Vardek Crom in. How does he come in the game? He's definitely a hero level. So he's had a model, he's had rules. It would be nice to see Vardek Crom in, and Vardek Crom was actually killed in the end times by Luther Huss and Valton, so it would be quite cool to, if you had Luther Huss brought into the game, to see Crom come into the game as well. I say there's so many characters out there that you could want to have in the game. Crom is a favourite of mine. Could he be a possible hero? Absolutely. He's definitely in the Undivided. He definitely fits in with Archaon. He was part of that, the Ever Chosen's invasion during the end times, but he's been around a long time as well as a character in Warhammer Fantasy Battle. So, Warriors of Chaos overall. It's a complicated beast. Who goes where? It would be nice to see clarity from Creative Assembly of how they envision Chaos looking. Are these monogod factions demon only? Is it dedicated monogod? If you take Khorne, for example, and you go, okay, so we're going to have Scarbrand in there, and Kabanda and Skulltaker, but we're also going to have in Arbol the Undefeated, and we're going to, for example, or Scar Bloodwrath. Well, why is Valkyr then in Warriors of Chaos? So you kind of sit there going, what's the consistency here? Does Valkyr belong in Khorne, and then you keep Crom the Conqueror and Harry the Hammer and Archaon, who are undivided, in Warriors of Chaos? I don't know, but that's what makes it quite confusing at the moment as who belongs where. There you go. That's my take on Warriors of Chaos. In reality, I don't think they need anything added to the faction while they have the Valkyr Village Festus in there. Love to see Crom in the game. Love to see Galrout come in the game somehow. Maybe not as a Lord, but maybe as a Regiment of Renown. But if you've enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't enjoy it, give it a thumbs down. Let me know in the comments down below. And I'd be interested to know your comments as well on if there's anyone else you think that should be in the game who fits under the Chaos banner of Warriors of Chaos, or if you think, or how you think Creative Assembly should handle the demons, the monogod demon factions, the Norska faction, Warriors of Chaos, and how it should all fit together, because at the moment it's kind of a bit inconsistent. If you want to see more content, though, please hit that subscribe button. It's free for you to do, and it means a lot for me, so thank you for that in advance. You've been watching The Ghost Owl. Tune back in for the last in the series of this Total Warhammer 3 faction focus.